come Holy Spirit, come into this house and shower blessings upon these men and women's minds and bodies and souls, so they are able to discern the right between right and wrong, the differences that they need to discern against on making decisions for this quorum, this body, this county. Lord, continue to open these men and women's minds and hearts and souls up so they are being able to do your work in this county. Continue to bless them in all their endeavors and everything that they have that's on their agenda, that it may be fulfilled in your time. Continue to work with them and walk with them. It's even some of the darkest days that we have in our lives, and making decisions that can alter the being of the next year, the next month. Continue to help them and continue to open them up. Let them go down that righteous path, that right path, that path that continues to get to you. Lord, we just pray all these things and continue to bless these men and women and all their endeavors, and especially through our county government, how it helps and continues to nurture the whole county. We just pray all these blessings upon your name. Amen.
Okay. Tell me the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, public comments, we have two signed up. Georgie, you good? You go first, please.
Sure. I just have a question first. The jail, since it was voted in by taxpayers, does it have to be voted to close? Just curious, I didn't know. Now I just want to say, I love my customers whom are my taxpayers. Them and my boss are the only reason I love the job. But from what I understand, there are some things in the budget left in there. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but I want to address something else first. Micah said in the previous report, he talked about a hate up here. Well, there is a hate, or a very strong dislike. And one reason is because of you, Mr. Evans, and Ken and other commissioners who don't stand up for each one of us. You pick and you choose what fits your needs. Ken's the worst to turn each of us against each other. If one of you would treat us, if you would treat us all equal, then things would be better. Take some lessons from Marshall Bennett. He didn't put up with this. What I wouldn't give to have a decent and fair man back. His morals and Ken's money sense would be the perfect courthouse. He didn't work each of us against each other. This is on y'all. You sit up there and you pick and choose how to do the budget based on what you like or what you don't. And you can't tell me any different by what y'all tried to do to Gina when she upset Ken by removing things completely in her budget that are still in others. So yes, that creates hate. And we can all thank the court for that. But again, I have been here almost 20 years, and someone who has been here half that might make more than me with my longevity. Ken sat up there July 25th court and said he could make the numbers work. Well, he did. He cut here and he cut there, so his assistant could get double of everyone else. Preston said in that same court, we have enough leftover budget money to give everyone a 5% raise. I believe that's what was agreed on. So if this is true, why does one employee get 10%? I heard that Ken told Becky to leave Joyce 10% in. Is that legal after y'all agreed on a 5% across the board? Did he do it so you would approve and the commissioners wouldn't know it until it was over? Or do you know? Transparent my ass. Micah said in court August the 12th that this is not our personal money, and we wouldn't even treat our own money how the county is treating the taxpayer money. Yep, you're guilty too, Micah. Again, if this isn't true, I apologize. We have to rely on hearsay because of the hidden budget that's not transparent. But anyway, thank y'all for those hard feelings and the spit in the face. So this hate is on y'all's shoulders.
Thank you, Georgie. Johnny Lynn, you're next.
Mine's shorter because she covered pretty much the
But I just wanna say it's a shame that we're here like this, and it does seem like we're dogging the judge, but he has. People don't know what has gone on behind closed doors. He wants to pit us all against each other, and he's done a fine job of it. We're a county, funded taxpayer dollars, and it's our taxpayer dollars. But it's like, there's no unity, and it's been a success for the one that wants it that way. And budget's not easy, because you want to stay within your limits, you need to stay within your limits, it's required. But we've been slashed and cut, we've had benefits taken away from us, we stay for years and years, we lose our benefits. Usually in a job, you progress, you grow, you climb. And it's just, to me, humiliating what goes on up here. And then the disrespect that we get, and then it flows back, because how can you respect somebody that doesn't even treat you as a human? When any of us are speaking, Ken doesn't even look at us, he's just always looking at his paper like we're not even here. And it's a shame that's what we're doing here, because we go to school and I hear these other people, we love our judge, he's so supportive. I said, really? Yeah, he's for us, he tries to create harmony. We used to have parties, we used to have Christmas, all that's gone. And it's a shame, because we all need our jobs. They're sitting here, we need a raise. Everybody here needs one. And there is money there. But then, when it comes budget time, we'll make it look like there isn't. And there's a select few of y'all that seem to play a game with the money. And it just gets old. If we didn't love our jobs, we wouldn't be here. We love the people. We love helping people. Beyond our job requirements, we love helping people. Love this county. And so, would love to see if our judge does stay, for things to change in the future, because rumors fly, and he's leaving. Is he leaving putting a spit in people's faces? I'm just saying, I don't wanna be in y'all's seat making decisions about the budget, but I hope that y'all really think about what everybody does and requirements, and sitting there sticking a 10% versus a 5%, or 10% and a 0%, or whatever. Is it right? And if it is, we deal with it and we go on, but do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on. Public hearing will be next on the agenda. Anybody here with any suggestions or complaints on the county clerk archive fund? Hearing none. Number 2, proposed tax rate for year end 24-25. Number 3, proposed budget 24-25. Number 4, proposed drug forfeiture 24-25. Okay, hearing none, we'll move into the consent agenda. Senior citizens, Lily, is she here? Nick, is he here? County treasurer, she's here.
Yep, I'm here. The county funds ended with $8,259,783.25. That's with a gain of interest earned of $39,571.49. And while I have the floor, I want to make mention that this is our final month of the fiscal year, and so with that on the payroll, I want to bring to your attention that I'd like to run the longevity payroll the week of the 24th. That's the week between the next payroll and the final payroll. The last payroll of the fiscal year, I'd like to run early because it technically falls to pay October 3rd. However, it's for all time worked in September, It just makes it easier for us and the auditor, the outside auditor, to not have to do, amendments if we run that early and go ahead and push it in and we can go ahead and close our fiscal year. So just wanted to give y'all a heads up that is my game plan as far as the final payrolls for the remainder of the fiscal year. That's all I have, sir.
Thanks, ma'am. County auditor, Ms. Baldwin.
Yes, the commissioners should receive the financial condition and also the bills for the month. Do y'all have any questions on the invoice policy? Any of the bills that we need to look at? That's-
All right, Law Enforcement Center, Sheriff Coleman.
Fairly busy month, we've just gone through, we took 241 calls for service. We had 18 people booked in, we still have 10 of those in custody. And we did 50 traffic stops over the course of that time. Other than that, we're ready.
Thanks, Sheriff. All I have on the consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second, all in favor? Motion carries. New business, conflict of interest, Ms. Baldwin.
I have none, Judge.
Budget amendment, line item transfer.
I do have a couple of those. The first one is gonna be precinct 2. Mr. Elrod asked for me to move 5,000 from his road hand to his salary part-time. It's just a line item transfer. And then, the next one is gonna be to go to the county court at law. What happened was, they didn't get us the bill at the first of the year. They got us the bill the first year, and then we got another one for the last year, so we're shorting it. So I'm just gonna move money from the death supplement benefits of 7,792,71 to the county court of law. But moving forward, it should be fine, because we have a new auditor over there that billed us for the Nutley County. And then the last one I have is moving money from the legal fees of 3,500 to supplies, which is short. And that's the three I have, Judge.
All right. Pleasure of the court.
Make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Have a motion and second, all in favor? Motion carries. All right, item number 4, burn ban, took it off, so some people could burn, so y'all wanna put it on, leave it off?
Leave it off. I agree.
All right, no action necessary on burn ban. Item number 5, special, oops, okay. All right, number 5, special revenue,
I have none, Judge.
no? All right, item number 6, presentation of Aflac services. Anyone here for that?
No.
Alright, presentation of Fisher County 50-year plaque, is anyone here for that?
Yes, sir, Miss Rita Fife from TAC is here to present to the board.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all this morning? So my name is Rita Fife and I'm your HR consultant with TAC. And so I'm here today to present this really nice award for you all. This is an award that TAC has given out to only 49 counties actually, because you are part of one of the original counties that helped form TAC. And so the beginning of TAC was when legislation came in and was mandating that some salaries be paid to some elected officials, and it was putting a burden on some counties to do that. So they needed someone to be able to go to legislation to have a voice there so that they could help, let them know what they could and could not do. And so they formed the original TAC many years ago, back in the late 60s. Well, then they came in and decided that the counties needed to supply workers' comp for the employees, which was also gonna be tough because insurance companies did not want to take on that risk. So the original members got together then at that point in time and said, well, it helped for the legislation, so why don't we try and form the workers' comp? So they formed the workers' comp in order to established that for the county. So, Fisher County is one of the original counties that, helped form TAC, and so this, plaque is being awarded to you all as a thank you for being one of those, counties that helped establish and maintain and support TAC. So, I don't know who.
Thank you, just lay it on the desk there.
Okay. If y'all would like to take a picture and, a little bit later after you get through with Ford.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rita.
Item number 8, information only, 30-mile-hour speed limit, Mr. Evans.
County Road 452, just off of, 608 to the southwest part of precinct 4. We had a request from the Richard and Diana Hetty for trucks that were flying down the road to, do a speed limit or decrease on the road. So around the residence on 452, just to the northwest of the, bridge, there is half a mile from the residence on each side is a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. After the end of the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, do we have any kind of signs resuming it to regular speed or? No. Or where the 30-mile-an-hour limit ends, or?
It was just in the signs is the way we voted it in.
I believe back, when we did that back in March or April,
Think so.
so just in between the signs.
Just in between the signs.
Call, you got that?
Got that. To the point, we should probably do the whole county that way on all the dirt roads. All of our roads are getting damaged.
Yeah, they don't follow it, half the time anyway still.
All right, item number 9, approve day of Commissioners Court 24-25. Have a motion to approve the
I'll
Dexter
second it.
second. Gordon, all in favor? Motion carries. All right, item number 10, approve county clerk archive fund.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries. Item number 11, approve base pay raise for year end 2025.
I presented to you gentlemen on your desk, the base pay as it's in the, I guess, as it was in the proposed budget for your approval.
So is that correct that we do have one employee as a 10% raise and the rest of them 5%?
That is correct.
Why are we doing that?
I think she deserves 5% more, so I put it in the budget.
Sort of, don't think that's fair, just like was stated earlier, you know, one person, a lot of us think that our employees are the best employees. You're just giving one person more than the rest, it's bad for morale on all employees. I just think it's a bad policy to have. And, you know, if we were gonna try to justify it, you know, by taking away, we're not gonna have a county attorney, if we did away with his secretary position or cut there or something where she said she could take up the slack, you could sort of justify it, but if we're not gonna do that, gonna leave that full amount for a county attorney we don't have and give one person more than the rest, that's, seems unjust to me.
She is already doing the secretarial work for your county attorney.
Then why do we still have to leave a secretary in there for that position then?
I don't have no idea, but
Well, that's
I
something
know
we
she
need to
does.
discuss then.
most of that work already.
It's a pleasure of the court.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the base pay.
Do I have a second? I'll second it. Have a motion and a second, all in favor of approving the base pay for 2025, raise your hand please. All opposed? I need some people to vote here.
I oppose.
All in favor?
Can we hang on a second on that? I mean, we're talking on this, if we're talking
on salaries and stuff, with base pay, are we setting, where we're supposed to be setting on everything? Cause on,
That was all in your proposed budget. Everybody got 5%, I put in for 10 for Joy.
but once again, I get that, but if we voted for a 5% increase for everybody, that would be across the board, it wouldn't be an increase. We couldn't increase anybody else any differently without voting it in that way.
I agree with that.
So if we do, like, last month, we voted in 5%. So the 5%'s that was for everybody. There's no extra that we could do outside of that without voting it in separately.
I agree.
This is what I'm not understanding, because we'd have to do a whole nother set, or we're not doing it properly. Or am I misunderstanding on that?
I think you're correct.
Any other discussion?
So, it could be set that way, but if we voted for 5%, then 5%'s all we can do for anybody on it. We'd have to vote separately on it being a 10% for somebody separate. Cause legally, we can't vote 5% and then put 10% on somebody. Because that's not what we're voting through the court.
How would you like your motion to read?
We approved the 5% with the numbers in front. We need to do the 5%. Because that's what we voted in. So I would make the motion for the 5% to be voted in.
We're not have the budget voted in to kind of go over it again to kind of see.
We can do whatever you gentlemen want to do.
Do we have the updated budget? I didn't see one here on my desk.
It was emailed to you. The only difference was Joy's, everybody else was 5%, that was,
Well, I thought we discussed, we're not on that line item, but we discussed the county attorney's, secretary and position two, and
y'all didn't say to take it out when we did the budget, it's still in there.
we're working on numbers. We didn't have them numbers in there, we cut it in half, so.
You cut what in half?
County attorney's
No,
budget.
it wasn't cut in half, I was told to leave it in, it wasn't taken out. So it's in there, is what I'm telling you, it's in there, it wasn't taken out, county attorney's was not taken out, it's the same as it was.
This is where y'all gotta help me out. I'm still. But the way I understood it is, it's how we voted in court, right? So if we voted
That'd be on.
5%,
That'd be
it's
on-
gotta be 5% for everybody. It's gotta be voted separate to do the 10%.
That's not on the agenda still.
You can't just do a special section for
And
one
like
person.
Judge just said, because it's not on the agenda, we can't do 10% legally. So if we vote this, it's gotta be 5% across the board.
Okay, with that said, I still need approval for the base pay.
So I'll
Okay,
make
so
approval
if you're
for
doing
base
this
pay
right,
at 5%.
then here's to amend that, take that, and put, here's a base pay that puts it 5%.
I'm gonna second Michael's motion that leave 5%.
But it does
across.
still leave in the county attorneys,
It does what to the county attorney?
It leaves it in.
that does still leave in the county attorney. All I did was
Oh, sure.
change the Joyce from 10 to 5.
So I have a motion and a second, all in favor, year end, 2025 base pay rate. Gordon, next.
I guess if it's legal, that's what we gotta do.
Motion carried. Item number 12, motion, approve longevity for year end 2025.
And I also gave you gentlemen the longevity, $22,950, which is according to the employee handbook in last year's according to the handbook that we changed in this year.
I'll make the motion to approve longevity.
Second by Dexter, all in favor? Motion carries. Item number 14, adopt drug forfeiture budget for year end 2025.
I'll make the motion to approve or adopt it.
Second it.
Motion is second, all in favor?
How much is in that drug forfeiture?
It is $528.21. Don't run and buy something really expensive.
Yeah, it's on here, it's on the treasurer report there before you go.
Item number 15, adopt M&O rates for year end 2024-25. Who's got the?
Mike has got the cover.
Sorry. Maybe the budget be adopted with a tax rate of,
Wait, I think he's doing the M and M, Mike, I'm sorry.
oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on, Mike, I'm sorry.
I think we got to adopt
We
the
do,
budget
I've got
first.
it off the line. Item 13, adopt budget for year end 2025, I'm sorry.
So, we good now?
Well, again, we're leaving us over $100,000 in the county attorney's budget. We're not gonna have a county attorney. Seems like we're just padding the budget at taxpayers' expense.
Well, we're not. I was gonna come to y'all next month. We've been looking for a county attorney. We have one who's gonna be the Nolan County attorney who's agreed to do this with court approval, which will be next month, at $3,500 a month. So that's not zero. You can't do that. You have to have a county attorney. I've got 16 tomorrow on my document. We've got 17 already for next month. You've got to have a county attorney.
You do, but you don't have to spend over $100,000 on outsourcing and moving.
We don't pay a county attorney $100,000
But that's what the budget is, over $100,000.
for the total budget.
Right.
Guys, I don't care what you wanna do, but y'all gonna have to agree on an attorney period, and that's
Well-
about next month. We don't have that in the budget, so how are we gonna adjust that?
And he still has 3 months, that budget still has,
So you got 9 months after that.
So we
Yeah.
got him, we've got Michael till the end of the year, and then the.
If y'all approve the lady from Nolan County, it's $3,500 a month after that.
3,500 a month retainer on her. You're not paying insurance, you're not paying retirement.
She's gonna use her own secretary.
Don't know. Depends on what y'all do with the budget.
That's what, she's gonna charge some certain amount, we ought to know what all we're gonna get out of it.
Yeah. But just like, okay, like, what I was informed, so like our road usage agreements, what are they run? They're 1,200-1,500 a pop on those when they're done. Every time those are done, that's just one. What about all this pipeline stuff that keeps coming up? Plus,
We ain't got nowhere this far with the pipeline stuff, we're just
well,
leaving the money on the table right now.
I guess what I'm just getting at is better to have one on a full-time retainer than have to pay every
You got to
time.
have a
we
county
need-
attorney.
And hope you can get one.
Yeah.
So we don't pay the county attorney until after the first year.
We'll still have one till the first year.
Yeah.
But we don't have to start paying her until after the first year. She agrees, if she agrees to take whatever you offer.
What you'll save is the
So-
difference from January to September, like hospitalization and all that. That she won't, but you still, if y'all approve her, but she's gonna be the county attorney in Nolan County and is willing to do the same thing.
Is that tomorrow, or
No.
who's it gonna be?
What's her name? Joy Morgan, what's her last name?
Brooks.
Morgan Brooks.
have 3 more months after this month with Michael being in office, and then have
Yeah,
Morgan come in front of us after that and see, can we all, what I'm asking is, can we go back afterwards? And if we don't need that full amount of the money,
Well, what's
Next
gonna
budget.
happen,
Back in.
yeah, what's
Next
gonna
budget.
happen on that, guys, if you adopt it as it is on the proposed budget, which we put in, it's got all Michael's, he's fully funded, he's gonna have to be funded from October 1 to December 31. Insurance will fall out, y'all go back and nickel and dime the insurance if you want, 3 months in, 3 months out, or let it fall where it's gonna fall. But if y'all, what's the insurance expected roughly, Nina? $1,000 a month?
Yeah, it's 984 a
So
month.
you wanna take $9,000 out of the total budget, I'm okay with that. But in the big picture, what's that gonna do?
not much.
This budget doesn't have a jail in it, right?
The proposed is not.
So, what you were asking earlier, so, that tax rate comparison, you'll get a copy of that, right? You give them a
Yeah,
copy,
they should
Vicky?
have a copy, and it should have it Gordon at the top by your,
So what you were asking earlier, Kristen, is we're on the last one, we went through and we pulled that stuff out because we were looking at on the proposed budget that came into play was, let's see, where we at? I've got last month's. So it was showing with the law enforcement center last month on the proposed budget, we were $378,333,010 in the hole with the proposed budget going off of it. This is from last month's meeting. Without it, we were still, potential $125,000 in the hole.
I think you said the first one wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
With the LEC, if we don't put the whole budget in there, that it would be 383 plus, and
Okay,
then the other was the
yes,
short.
yes,
Yes,
yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
That's okay.
And then, but once we took everything out, you plug that in on these numbers you gave us with this tax rate, correct?
Yes,
So everything we took out that supposedly got us back in the red, or black, I mean. Once it went back in because of SB 22, from my understanding on this, so SB 22 and what it states and bringing everybody up, once we bring up law enforcement employees to the rate they're supposed to be at for SB 22. SB 22 does not cover, overtime. So any overtime by sheriff's department or law enforcement center is not covered by SB 22, even once we get it. So the overtime, all that coming into play, once you budget it in, is where the numbers are coming up on this tax rate comparison right now. And that was with everything we took out. That's what, right now, without any overtime being put in or anything that goes on with like, any cost to, what'd you say, the,
well, it'd be food and inmate housing and all that.
without any of that, that's where you get your top number up here on this tax comparison of, we're in the plus at $38,782, and that was after we got all that back last month on what was taken out. Now, if you add everything in with the overtime and everything else, we're still at a deficit of $113,534. That's what this is showing.
So everything we discussed taking out last month, we added back.
No, that's with it still being out. That's where you're getting here. So we were at 100.
The only thing we added back, I'm just gonna, correct me if I'm wrong, when y'all left it, y'all were at 28,000 to the plus, and we added back, the LEC, I think Gina figured some stuff, we redid payroll a little bit. But then, the district employees are getting paid out of Nolan County now, and so we saved 17,000 on that, so it brought us up to 38,000. But what we didn't do is we didn't go up on any of the supplies, housing, all that for the LEC. And obviously the overtime, because they're gonna be getting paid more, there'll be more overtime, the benefits will be more expensive.
And that's the breakdown here
So,
on the,
Sheriff, you're planning on keeping it as a holding facility now, or what's the plan if you close the law enforcement center? Leaving the jail as a holding facility, or not even gonna be doing that anymore?
State law is telling you, you gotta have a county attorney, you also have to have a jury, jail by state law, so, you know.
who's telling you that? Because what
It's-
we're
it's
getting.
in the government
It's in the government code.
Yeah, it's.
I gave you all
the county-
copies of it last
You
time.
got a copy of it last month. It's in the government code that the county shall provide a jail.
Shall is
That's a
magic
shall,
word.
not a should, not a suggestion, shall provide a jail. 351.01 in the local government code.
Is that just a shall provide a holding cell for so many hours?
Shall
The
provide.
wording is shall provide a jail.
You have one exemption on it, and the exemption on that is if you either have a jail that has to be remodeled and you can't afford to do it as a county, or if you don't have a jail at all and you can't afford to build one. That's the only exemption out of it,
That's where that's gonna fall.
so. It's a requirement. Tax says it's a requirement.
We're not the only county in the state of Texas that
So-
doesn't have a jail.
You know, it seems, just, for me, it seems like we're looking at this like we're trying to run a Walmart here and make a profit as opposed to providing a service. This is a county service, we provide, it costs the county money, that's how it works. Right now, I have 10 people in jail. What are we gonna do with them?
Are they in our jail?
No, I'd like them in our jail,
Why are they not in our jail? Because our jail's not closed.
I understand that.
Cause we gotta find out what happens here today.
And we have a full staff.
I've got a lot of people who don't know if they wanna work there or not, just because of this very conversation we're having right now, is because they're concerned. How many people are gonna quit their job and go someplace knowing that, you know, at the stroke of a pen, they're unemployed? You know, once this is over, then we can move forward on getting that going. I'll get everybody, so we're certified and up and running. Right now, we're using it as a holding center, so we're using it up to 72 hours and kind of getting it back going that direction. And then we'll be able to start bringing prisoners in. We'll be able to actually take prisoners from Nolan County, because they're looking all the time right now.
And we still have our Lubbock contract
And we
in
have a
place.
contract with Lubbock. So,
We're just kinda waiting to see what happens today.
here's what won't happen, is we're not gonna start it and then have it stop, and start it and have it stop. We've done that with the previous sheriffs, not gonna do that. It's either gonna go and we'll make it work, or do
Or
what
what?
y'all want.
Or what?
Or you shut it, if you shut it down, then we'll just move forward from there.
Okay, but my question is, you said you won't do that, so if you can't keep it open, or what, that's what I wanna know, what that means.
Well, that's my job, is to keep it open.
But if you can't, there's not any sheriff.
I'm not gonna go into it, or, we're not gonna do that.
How can you guarantee that?
If we have to, I'll put people in and work my supervisors, I'll put people in, I'll make sure that it works and it operates until we're up to a full running staff. But unfortunately, unlike other jobs that we have here, I don't have that ability to take somebody and hire them off the street like they used to be able to 15 years ago, and say, hey, you're a jailer, and they become a jailer, and there's nothing to it. There's training that goes with the dispatch, there's training that goes with everything else before I can leave them alone.
I understand that.
So it takes a period of time to get it up and running.
I understand that, and I appreciate that, but that has been going on for 9 years.
Part of our problem is we had 2 out of the last 4 sheriffs that didn't want to open, if they didn't want that responsibility, or whatever the case would be, so they didn't want to keep it open. It was easier to have it closed for them. You gotta have a sheriff that wants to keep it open and make it work.
that's a deficit budget.
Last month, we had the money, where'd it go in a month's time?
Just didn't add all that back in there, you gotta add all that extra overtime.
It wasn't, we just explained where that went, because she didn't add everything back in. We actually got more money on top of what we had, cause we were at plus 28,000 whenever we had that. And then we got the 17,000 what back in,
We got
that added back
17,000
up,
for
and that's
us,
where we're at the 38,782 right now, because what we took out is still taken out, with some added on top of that. But that wasn't taken into account all the overtime, because as we stated, even getting SB 22, once we applied and we've got it, even with SB 22, overtime cannot be paid out of SB 22. It's just like anything on the budget line item cannot be paid out of SB 22. So all this stuff that keeps getting talked about we can do out of SB 22, we can't legally do out of SB 22. So,
I can give you on the payroll numbers, I can give you back $47,874.
That's,
And,
wait, it's already in there, Gina, I already gave that back. Because
Okay.
that comes out of the SB 22. I
okay,
already
cause
figured that in.
cause with what I was able to print and look at when I was trying to double check my numbers for the base salary report, there's a little bit of discrepancy in the senior citizens of like $6,683. On the law enforcement center, there's $20,472 that can be changed in multiple fields, to go according to how I reran the overtime history reports, Becky. And now I picked up June and July's, the original numbers I gave you didn't cover those months. And then also the SB 22 salary supplement for the sheriff is in there at $18,867 and is as an expense, but it is not entered in there with the SB 22 as a
Let me
revenue.
correct, Gina, let me correct that, because that is, that 18's in there, and I corrected it this morning.
Okay, so we weren't given an amended
Yeah,
copy.
so 57,000 is what the increases are gonna be with the jailers, and that comes out of the SB 22. So I gave that back to the budget, cause when we get the SB 22, it'll be a wash.
It's a
So
wash.
I've already given them that credit.
Okay.
Where we're at is where we're at.
But the overtime can't be a wash.
No,
No, it's in there, it's
No.
in the budget,
with what I just quoted, that's lowering down their overtime
with
numbers.
the new numbers that I gave,
Yeah.
not in the one right now, but.
But we're having overtime and no prisoners, so what do you think's gonna happen when you get prisoners and somebody quits and there goes the overtime that you didn't add in there?
What about
I agree.
the out-of-county housing money? We're spending $19,000 a month on 10 inmates over in Sperry County right now. So if you take that 19,000, take that times 12, well, what does that come out to be?
20,000 months, 120,000, as of last month, you spent about 40,000, where you getting that number?
$65 a day per inmate times 10 inmates.
You don't always have 10 inmates,
Right now, for the last month, we've had 10 inmates.
right now, so you can't use that number going.
Okay, so you go to the median average and say 7. Say 7 inmates. That's still way over the budget right
I don't care
there.
about an average, I know what we spent for this last year, and it's about $40,000, is it not, Becky?
It's
So
35,000.
don't go using the $20,000 a month, that
We
won't.
didn't have a sheriff. last
Before we
time.
go into last year, we went 7 months with the sheriff who didn't let anybody go out and drive around and arrest anyone.
I'm not talking about
So,
last year.
You don't have
I'm
anybody in
talking
jail,
about law
so we can't look at the average from last year.
Yes, you can, those are real numbers.
We can't if we're not doing the job. If somebody's out there not doing the job, you aren't getting anything done. There's nobody going to jail. Nobody's getting arrested.
well, I know you said it's not a Walmart and it's not. We're supposed to provide services, but we're also not supposed to sign over on a deficit budget on things either. And right now, with the numbers we're given to make decisions off of, it shows deficit budget. So show me where we're not in a deficit budget, because I'm not signing off on a deficit budget.
I don't have an answer for you for the budget. I can tell you what's required, I can tell you, what we have to do. You all go from there, and I'll do what I have to do.
So what I wanna know is what we legally have to do if we take this budget, because if this is correct and we have, this would be a deficit budget. I'm not signing off on the deficit budget, that's bad business, I won't do it. But what do we legally have to do?
Right.
Because you're saying it's in Texas code, that's what we have to do, we have to have a law enforcement center, it don't have to be that size.
It doesn't say we have to operate, if we can't operate a jail.
Well, we haven't been operating, it's been the big deal for a long period.
I think the terminology might be what's confusing people, because it's been depopulated for most of the time the jail's been open. So with the depopulated, we've spent $600,000 and we've only had 6 jailers. Now we've added 7 more. So if we've spent $600,000 with no inmates, and we've added 6 more people, and we spent $600,000 this year, what are we gonna spend next year, and realistically?
Keep in mind that the 6 that we've had have been being dispatchers as well, and you can't shut dispatch down, we have to
No,
have that
that's
as
what
well.
I'm saying, with it being depopulated and only having 6 jailers over there, we've spent $600,000, but if you add jailers and we're not gonna keep inmates, we're gonna throw another 600,000 at it, that's what I'm asking.
Is our county attorney here, Judge?
Not to my knowledge.
He was outside smoking a while ago.
I mean, obviously, the expenses are gonna be more, the numbers are numbers, I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all, it's six people over there, we've spent 600,000 right now, and we haven't had any inmates. So there's no food cost or anything.
Do we don't have to have a jail, if we close the jail, we can close the jail.
As long as we're housing people, any jail, and actually any judge can magistrate, so, that answers the question.
I think so.
Judge, I don't know how relevant it is to your overarching conversation, but I did a records request last week to the jail commission. I got a response to that earlier this morning. They gave me a list of 20 jails or 20 counties that currently operate without a jail.
I know we're not gonna be the only one. Thank you, Joe. Still on item 13, gentlemen. What's the pleasure of the court?
I'll be the one, I'm not gonna sign off on the deficit budget, I said it last month, I'm saying it again, and there's all we can make our decision off is the numbers were presented. And the numbers I'm being presented did not take away what we had already taken out of budget last time, and the extra money being added in, and we still go into a deficit budget. This doesn't mean that we still can't do SB 22, because we obviously can. And we might have money for more boots on ground for deputies, or we might have money for other aspects of what it potentially could put back in the budget. So, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the budget.
So is that approving the budget, is that cutting out jailers?
That cuts out the jail.
How many?
The budget gives you 6 people to operate.
Dispatch.
I'm gonna second that motion.
Have a motion and a second to adopt the proposed budget, all in favor? All opposed? What was your vote? Discussion?
I'm not gonna vote for deficit budget either.
So you all for the proposed budget? Make it clear, I'm gonna recall again, all in favor of the proposed budget?
I'm not for funding the county attorney office that we don't have, we're padding the budget on that department, so I'm not gonna vote for that.
All opposed? Get the opposed? Motion carries.
10% raise for somebody. Yeah, we're done.
Yes.
Okay, item number 15, criminal tax rate for 24-25 now.
I move that the budget be adopted with a tax rate of 0.497533. This rate will raise more revenue from property taxes than last year's budget by an amount of $4,519.43, which is a 5.68% increase from last year's budget. Be it ordered, or ordained and ordered by the Commissioners Court of Fisher County, Texas, that we, the Commissioners Court of Fisher County, Texas, do hereby levy, adopt the tax rate of .497533 per 100 valuation for the county of tax year FY 2024 through 2025 as follows. The .497533.
I'll second it.
He's got legal separate.
Oh, no.
Can you do the separate, the M and O?
Do the separate on it?
Yeah, you'll have to do the M and O.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, the, .417257 for the purposes of maintenance and operations general fund, .013146 for road and bridge operations.
Hold on. We did the M and O, I need a motion on the M and O.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
We just have to break them out.
Motion
I'm
carries.
sorry.
Now the INS, I'm sorry, Mike.
It's fine. The .013146 for road and bridge operations, road and bridge funds. .06713 for large equipment and balance towards jail bond.
Hold
.49.
on. INS, I need a motion on INS.
Oh,
Those are separate, I'm sorry, Mike.
everyone's
We
separate.
have to vote on them separate.
There's three of them, there should be three.
Did he read the motion?
He did on INS, then we're gonna go to the road and bridge. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Yeah.
All in favor? Motion carries. Now the road and bridge.
Road and bridge or large equipment?
Right.
Large equipment was .06713 for large equipment and balance towards jail bond.